church's VBS, and they used an Olympic athlete as their theme. And also later in the summer, I worked at Rockford Christian Camp, which is the church camp that I attend back home, and they too used the Olympics in their theme. And over the course of the summer, I came across this essay entitled "Love the Game," and I'd like to share it with you in conjunction to the game of football. Love the game. The first time I played football in a actually organized setting, I was 8 years old. And the thing about me when I was 8 is I was really, really small. But I was also pretty fast. And so my parents weren't super crazy about me playing football. Of course, they were like every other parent. They were afraid I was going to get hurt. But in our first game, I scored my first touchdown ever. And that was probably one of the coolest feelings I've ever felt in my entire life. And so this love for the game of football grew in me, and it continued all the way until I got into high school. Love the game for the pure joy of accomplishment. I'm a quarterback, and so when I get under center, I've got lots of different things that I look at, and I'm going through my progressions, and when I make the right read, or I throw the right pass, or I see one of my teammates break the long run, or when we beat someone that we're not supposed to beat, which has happened this year, or when something awesome like making the playoffs for the first time ever happens, that's that pure joy of accomplishment that I'm talking about. Love the game for everything it can teach you about yourself. Football has taught me many things. It's taught me that I can overcome challenges that my coaches and my teammates put in front of me. It's taught me that I can overcome defeat as an individual, and we can overcome defeat as a team. It's taught me that I can work through the pain, that I can push myself to get to another level that I may not have thought that I could get to before. And also, definitely in the first service, we had a song leader. His name is Vance, and he tore his ACL, and he's actually having surgery today, but he decided that he wanted to lead singing in the first chapel before he went and had surgery, so I thought that was pretty cool. But healing from injuries is something that is definitely possible. And on the football team especially, we talk about this idea of persisting. And we talk about it in ways that no matter what comes at us, no matter what team or what obstacles get in our way, we're going to be able to persist through anything because I'm going to be able to lean on my teammates, and of course I can lean on the Lord. Love the game for feeling of belonging to a group, endeavoring to do its best. Being a part of the football team here at Harding is something that I've never been a part of before. It's very special, and I think it's no surprise that it's special because we try to do one thing in everything that we do, and that's honor God. And I think you can see that in our football team, and you can see that in our coaches because every single one of our coaches has at one time played here, and so they know that brotherhood, and they know what's special about it, and they know how to help us cherish it. Love the game for being involved in a team whose members can't wait to see you do your best. The best way I know how to explain this is with myself. I'm not the starting quarterback here at Harding. Kelvin Martin is. And in most other situations at other schools, that relationship between the starter and the backup would be kind of hostile. But I'm here to tell you there's not a single person on the football team I love more than Kelvin Martin. When I see him do good, I know that he's doing good because of all the hard work and the long hours that we have put in together as a team. And when he does good, that means that our team is going to be successful. And for our team to be successful is our ultimate goal because we can honor God in any way, but especially when we're successful. Love the game for the challenge of working harder than you ever have at something, and then harder than that. This past spring, we were introduced to our 5:45 workouts, and it's definitely, the sun is not up, in case you guys are wondering. It's very dark when you're walking over to the football complex, and when we get in there, we do these, CrossFit workouts, and a CrossFit workout is basically non-stop movement, just really pushing yourself as hard as you can go. There have been multiple times when I thought I was definitely going to throw up during these workouts. They definitely push you. but I know that my teammates around me are going through the same thing that I am, and we can push each other and we can get each other to work to that next level. Also, this summer I worked at a children's day camp, and I worked with kids from ages 5 to 12, and that's definitely an interesting time in a kid's life, and they have lots of energy, and I'd get there at 6:30 in the morning, and there'd be kids waiting for me to get there already, and I'd work 8+ hours a day, and so it would take a lot out of me, that's for sure. But I knew that when I got off work, I was going to have to go to my local YMCA, and I was going to have to do the workouts that were given to me by my coaches, and I was going to have to do every rep and run every sprint, because somewhere in the nation there's another quarterback who's working, and I refuse to let myself be outworked by somebody for my team. Love the game because it takes all the team members to give it life. Being a quarterback, some of my best friends are my offensive line. I think if you ask my mom, actually, she'd probably say the same thing because they protect her little boy. But each one of us has a responsibility to do as a football player. My job is to make sure that I can make my right reads and facilitate the ball where it needs to go. And the offensive line, they have to make sure that they're getting our blocks so that we can execute the plays that we're running. And that goes for the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Each one of them has their gap responsibilities, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not really a defensive guy myself, but I'm sure it's something like that. And everyone has to make sure that they get their job done so that we can succeed. If one person messes up on one play, everybody else can be perfect, but that one thing can keep us from succeeding as a team. Love the game because at its best, the game tradition will include your contributions. The tradition of Harding football is now going to hold the archives of Keenan, Kellett. My contribution as a redshirt was to be a scout quarterback for our defense and to make our defense better. You can ask any of our redshirts right now this year. That is not the most fun thing to do, especially being your first year in college. Last year, I was a fake signal giver. I know that sounds totally awesome, but it's really not. During the games, I would sit here and I would, give signals to make sure that the other team couldn't pick up on what we were doing. And whatever else happens during my time here as a Bison, whether it be big or small, the game is going to have my contributions in it. Love the game because you belong to a long line of fine athletes who have loved it. It is now your legacy. This past summer, Coach Prock scored his final touchdown. The Apostle Paul would have said that he finished his race. His contribution to the game of football is this football team's legacy. I don't know if any of you have ever walked in the Rhodes Fieldhouse and seen some of the pictures of our coaches now when they were former players, but they were pretty big dudes. They are my legacy. I'm 20 years old. Let's say I live to be 80. In 60 years, is there going to be another sophomore quarterback standing in my shoes right now talking about how Keenan Kellett ran his final lap around the track? What's my legacy going to be? Love the game so much that you will pass on your love of the game to another athlete who has seen your dedication, your work, your challenges, your triumphs, and then that athlete will, because of you, love the game. That's got to be like the cutest picture ever. I'm sorry. That's my little cousin, and he's so cute. Anyway, if you haven't figured it out right now, I'm not really talking about football. I'm talking about being on a team that's unlike any other. I am on God's team, and I'm blessed to play in the game that He's called me to be in. I love the game because I've seen the dedication and the work and the challenges and the triumphs of God's athletes who have come before me. I have godly grandparents still playing in the game. I have parents who are great athletes and are coaching me from afar. I have spiritual trainers and coaches here in Searcy who want to see me do my best and are going to push me to that point no matter what it takes. I want to be a strong, healthy athlete for the Lord. I want to train and work out consistently. I want to persevere even during my defeat, fatigue, and injury. I want to encourage my teammates and I want to be the kind of athlete for God that will in turn cause others to be drawn to Him. Love the game. Love the game for the pure joy of accomplishment. Love the game for everything it can teach you about yourself. Love the game for the feeling of belonging to a group endeavoring to do its best. Love the game for being involved in a team whose members can't wait to see you do your best. Love the game for the challenge of working harder than you ever have at something, and then harder than that. Love the game because it takes all the members to give it life. Love the game because at its best, the game tradition will include your contributions. Love the game because you belong to a long line of fine athletes who have loved it. It is now your legacy. Love the game so much that you will pass on your love of the game to another athlete who has seen your dedication, your work, your challenges, your triumphs, and then that athlete will, because of you, love the game. I just really appreciate the opportunity that I've been given to come up here and speak to you guys. Speaking in chapel is definitely one of the things on my bucket list, and so I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you.